Hi everyone, myself Kantraj HD, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Government Women's College, KR Nagara. My topic is congruences. Let's see one example, 5 divided by 2. When we divide 5 from 2, 2 is a divisor, 5 is a dividend and 2 is a quotient, we get a 4 as a product of divisor and quotient, and remainder is 1. So that is nothing but when 5 is subtracted from remainder, we get 4 is obviously divisible by 2. This one can be we written in congruence as 5 is congruent to 1 modulo 2. Similarly, 2 is congruent to 0 mod 2 because 2 minus 0 is obviously 2 and divisible by 2. And 2 congruent to minus 2 mod 2 because 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is obviously divisible by 2. And 4 is congruent to 2 modulo 2 because 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 is divisible by 2. Moreover, 4 is congruent to 0 modulo 2 because 4 is clearly divisible by 2. Now come to the second example, 25 divided by 7. 7 is the divisor, 25 is the dividend. When multiply 7 with 3, we get 21 and a remainder is 4. 25 minus 21, remainder is 4. Hence, 25 minus remainder gives us a 21 is divisible by 7. That is 25 minus 4 equals 21. 21 is clearly divisible by 7. Hence, 25 is congruent to 4 modulo 7. Similarly, 18 is congruent to minus 3 modulo 7 because 18 plus 3 is 21. 21 is clearly divisible by 7. 66 is congruent to 3 modulo 7 because 66 minus 3 is a 63 is clearly divisible by 7. And 7 is congruent to minus 7 modulo 7 because 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 is clearly divisible by 7. Now come to the definition of congruence. Congruence is nothing but two integers a and b are said to be a congruent modulo m if and only if m divides their difference, that is a minus b. We write it as a congruent to b modulo m. That means a congruent to b modulo m is nothing but a minus b is clearly divisible by m. That is the definition of congruence. Now come to the some theorems on congruences, basic theorems. Under that first theorem, theorem 1, a congruent to b modulo m if and only if a and b leave the same remainder when divided by m. That means if we divide a and b from m, they leave the same remainder, then we say a is congruent to b modulo m. Let's see the proof of that statement. Consider a congruent to b mod m. By the definition, m divides their difference, that is a minus b, which implies that a minus b is a multiple of m. I write it as m into p for some p chosen from set of integers. Assume that when b divided by m leaves r as a remainder. We ourselves assume that when b is divided by m leaves the small r as a remainder. That is, by the division algorithm, we can write it as B equals mq plus r such that 0 less than or less than m. Then a minus b is equals to mp. We have in above line, which implies that a equals b plus mp. We taken negative b to the right hand side. We get a equals b plus mp. That is nothing but a equals, replace the value of b from the division algorithm statement. So that is a equals mq plus r plus mp. Separate the multiple of m and taken m as a common. We get a equals m times of q plus p plus r, which implies that m divides a with quotient q plus p, which leaves the remainder r. Hence, a and b leaves the same remainder when divided by m. It is a one direction proof. Conversely, let a and b leaves the same remainder on divided by m. That is, a equals mq plus r. Similarly, b equals m into q dash plus r. Observe this, the remainder is same. Consider their difference, that is a minus b equals mq plus r minus mq dash minus r. Plus r and minus r cancelled each other. We get a minus b equals mq minus mq dash. Taken m as a common, we get a minus b equals m times of q minus q dash, which is nothing but m divides a minus b. Because above line looks like a minus b is a multiple of m, that is nothing but m divides a minus b. Hence, by the definition of congruence, this is nothing but a is congruent to b mod m. Hence, the completes the first theorem. Theorem number 2. The relation of congruence defined on Z. The set of integers is an equivalence relation. First, we have to know what is equivalence relation. Equivalence relation is nothing but the relation which is reflexive, transitive and symmetric. Now come to the proof of theorem 2. Define a relation capital R by A relates B as A congruent to B mod M. A relation is a congruent. Consider A relates A, that is A congruent to A mod M, which is nothing but, by the definition of congruence, M divides A minus A. A minus A is nothing but 0. That is m divides 0, which is obviously true because 0 can be divided by any number. Hence, our relation R is a reflexive. Now come to the one more condition. Let A relates B, which is nothing but A congruent B mod M, which is nothing but m divides A minus B, which implies that m divides a negative of that number, that is m divides minus of A minus B, which is nothing but m divides B minus A. By the definition of congruence, that can be written as B congruent to A modulo m. Hence, we get B related to A. Hence, our relation R is a symmetric relation. And the last condition is to check transitivity. Let A relate to B and B relate to C. That is nothing but A congruent to B modulo M and B congruent to C modulo M. So by the definition of congruence, apply the divisibility. M divides A minus B and M divides B minus C. That is nothing but A minus B equals M into P and B minus C equals M into Q. So add those two equation, I get A minus B plus B minus C is equals to MP plus MQ. That means you have to add left hand side with left hand side and right hand side with right hand side and simplify. We get A minus C is equals to taken M as a common in right hand side, M times of P plus Q. That implies that A minus C is a multiple of M, hence M divides A minus C, which is nothing but A is congruent to C modulo M, hence A related to C. Therefore R is a transitive relation, hence R is an equivalence relation. Now come to the next theorem, theorem number 3. If A is congruent to B mod M, then A plus X is congruent to B plus X mod M. AX is congruent to BX mod M. Minus A is congruent to minus B mod M, where X is any integer. Now come to the proof of the theorem. Consider the given congruence, that is A congruent to B mod M, which implies that M divides A minus B, which implies that A minus B is a multiple of M, that is M into Q. Add X and subtract X to the left hand side, we get A minus B plus X minus X is equals to MQ, and rearrange the terms in left hand side as A plus X minus B minus X is equals to MQ, and group them as A plus X minus B plus X is equals to MQ is a multiple, or left hand side is a multiple of M, hence we can write it as M divides A plus X minus B plus X. This is nothing but A plus X is congruent to B plus X modulo M. This proves the first case. Now come to the second case. A congruent to B mod M is a given congruence is nothing but M divides A minus B, which is nothing but A minus B equals MQ multiplied by X on both sides. We get A minus B into X is congruent is equals to MQX. So simplify, AX minus B is equals to MQX. Therefore, AX minus BX is a multiple of hence M divides AX minus BX, hence represent it as a congruence form. AX is congruent to BX mod M. This proves the second case. Now come to the third case. A congruent to B mod M, which is nothing but M divides their difference A minus B, which is nothing but M divides B minus A. Hence M divides minus A minus of minus B, which is nothing but minus A is congruent to minus B mod M. So above line, just I simplify minus A as a minus A and plus B as a minus of minus B. Then I apply the congruence definition, minus A congruent to minus B mod M. I get this completes the third theorem. Now come to the fourth theorem, that is when A, B C, M are integers, then CA is congruent to CB mod M implies that A is congruent to B mod M if and only if C and M are relatively prime. That means if M and C are relatively prime and CA is congruent to CB modulo M, then we get A congruent to B modulo M. This is a if and only if case. That means here we have both directional proof. Now come to the proof of this theorem. Given CA is congruent to CB mod M, if and only if, that's why both side implication M divides CA minus CB if and only if M divides C into A minus B. Just I taken C as a common, which implies that M divides C or M divides A minus B, but C and M are relatively prime. That means their GCD is 1. Therefore, M doesn't divide C. Therefore, only option M must divide A minus B. Hence, which implies that if and only if A is congruent to B modulo M. So, since here we have two-sided implications, there is no need to prove a converse direction proof. Hence, this completes the theorem. Theorem number 5. If A is relatively prime to M, then congruence AX congruent to B mod M as an integral solution X, any two solutions are congruent modulo M. That means every linear congruent AX congruent to B mod M has a integral solution X, and no two solutions are equal. That is the meaning of this theorem. Let's see the proof of this theorem. Given A and M are relatively prime, that means GCD of A and M equals 1, which implies that there exists two integers S and T such that 1 equals AS plus T into M. Multiply this equation throughout by B, we get B equals ASB plus MTB. Taken B to the right hand side, ASB to the left hand side, I get ASB equals B minus MTB. Taken B as a common in right hand side, that is B plus minus TB into M. That means A into SB equals B plus MQ. I denote minus TB as a Q. Hence, AX is congruent to B modulo M, where X is equal to S into B is a solution of linear congruence AX congruent to B modulo M. Suppose AX congruent to B mod M has two solutions, say x1 and x2. That is nothing but AX1 is congruent to B modulo M and AX2 is congruent to B modulo M. So on equating those two congruence, I get AX1 is congruent to AX2 modulo M, because both AX1 and AX2 congruent equivalent to the B value. Therefore, I can equate those two terms. AX1 is congruent to AX2 modulo M. Hence, X1 is congruent to X2 modulo M. This proves the uniqueness of the solution. This completes the theorem.